Bueno, buenos días a todos y a todas. Muchas gracias por participar hoy del último día de nuestros webinars de la semana. En primer lugar, les pido a todos, si alguien no tiene el micrófono silenciado, que por favor lo hagan. Y les informo que esta sesión está siendo grabada para que quede como material para quienes no se pudieron sumar hoy con nosotros. Bueno, como les decía, hoy es nuestro último día de webinars, pero hoy es el primero en la mañana y de tarde tendremos otro a las 2, así que también son bienvenidos y bienvenidas a participar del mismo. Bien, en el día de hoy lo que vamos a hacer es presentarles los convenios y las universidades, o algunas de las universidades con las que ANII tiene convenios y acuerdos de cooperación, específicamente para becas de posgrado en el exterior. Bien. Perfecto. Como les decía, bueno, este llamado en particular cierra el 17 de marzo, o sea que no quedan demasiados días, es bueno tener en cuenta esta fecha que es muy importante. La postulación se realiza de forma online en la web de ANII, y bueno, algunas características de cada una de las situaciones. En cuanto a maestrías, es muy importante que sepan, que tengan en mente, que solamente se pueden presentar a maestrías en este llamado que tengan convenio, de universidades que tengan convenios de cooperación con ANI. Y bueno, lo que necesitan es que el trámite de inscripción ya esté iniciado en la universidad, no necesariamente la aceptación, pero sí el trámite. Pero les recuerdo, lo importante es que ANI tenga convenio con esas universidades. En cuanto a doctorados, la situación es diferente, no es necesario que existan estos convenios, pero sí ustedes necesitan la aceptación en la universidad de destino para que ANI apruebe su beca. Bueno, en cuanto a la beca de ANI, los rubros fundamentales que cubre esta beca son la matrícula de la universidad de destino, los pasajes, la manutención o un monto para la manutención y también el seguro de salud. Es importante también destacar que cada convenio es diferente, cada convenio tiene sus particularidades y bueno, tienen diferentes beneficios. Algunos tienen descuentos en matrículas, pero otros tienen otro tipo de beneficios o de servicios, como descuentos, por ejemplo, en otros aspectos de la universidad, ya sean en servicios o en, bueno, en alojamiento o lo que sea. Y bueno, hay también, dependiendo del convenio, cuáles son los beneficios que hayamos conseguido. Todo eso lo pueden ver más claramente en la página de ANI, que después les vamos a dejar unas placas con toda la información pertinente, con los contactos y también con la página, y bueno, ahí pueden encontrar dentro del llamado cada una de las universidades con todos los beneficios y también con qué necesitan para inscribirse a cada una. Bueno, en el día de hoy, como les decía, tenemos 4 universidades, todas ellas son de Reino Unido, y todas ellas tienen maestrías y doctorados. Las universidades de hoy son Queen Mary University of London, Glasgow University, University of Sheffield y Bristol University. Cada uno de ellos va a presentar su universidad. Vamos a comenzar con la Universidad de Queen Mary. Así que, Flora, are you there?
Yeah, so I think that working okay for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So good morning or good afternoon to everyone, wherever you are in the world. Firstly, big thank you to ANII for inviting us to present today. It's really exciting to be here. I'm going to talk you through a presentation now, which has a bit more information and advice for you about Queen Mary University of London and applying for your postgraduate studies here. So just bear with me, I'll just share my screen. Okay, is that working for everyone?
Yes, we don't see the full screen yet, but...
Now is that better? Brilliant, okay. Great. So my name is Flora and I work at Queen Mary as the PGR Recruitment, Partnerships and Sponsorship Officer. And I'm also joined today by one of our Uruguayan alumnus, Santiago. Okay, so a little bit about Queen Mary. Queen Mary is a medium-sized UK university with about 27,000 students. We are part of the University of London, as well as being a Russell Group university, which means that we are part of a group of 24 leading research universities within the UK. Queen Mary is in the top 10% of universities across the world, as well as being a leading research-intensive university. We are currently ranked 5th in the UK for our international research impact. Okay. Queen Mary is a global university and has a long history of welcoming students from around the world. Today, we are home to students from more than 162 different countries, and over 45% of our student body come from outside of the UK. This makes Queen Mary one of the most diverse higher education institutions in the world. We have offices in Pakistan, India, China, and Indonesia. Okay. Queen Mary is a London university, and we have 5 campuses which are spread out across East and Central London. Our main campus is in Mile End, which you can see here on the screen, and this is in East London. We are one of the largest colleges of the University of London and one of the few which have fully integrated teaching, research, and residential facilities. Our setting provides our students with the benefit of a large campus environment and the countless academic and social opportunities that are provided by life in London. Having lived in London for 6 years myself now, I might be quite biased, but I really do believe it is one of the most exciting cities in the world. Our schools and faculties. So Queen Mary is made up of 3 faculties, and within those faculties, 19 schools and institutes. This includes world-renowned schools such as law and dentistry. The Institute of Dentistry is currently ranked 11th in the world, and law 30th and 7th within the UK. Postgraduate taught programs at Queen Mary. So Queen Mary's excellent research reputation, our world-leading academics, and our central London location means that we're a really popular destination for postgraduate study. And we currently have around 5,000 students studying with us. You can search for courses, for all of our courses using our program finder, and each course will have detailed information about what you will study, the structure of the program, as well as detailed information on entry requirements and fees. It's really important to check the entry requirements before applying. I've included the standard entry requirements here, but they do vary for each program, so it's really important to check. If you're not sure that your qualifications are accepted, you can browse our country-specific information pages on the website to find out, or you can email me. I'll share my email at the end of the presentation, so you can get more information. So checking the entry requirements includes checking English language. And again, you can find the requirements for each program on the course pages. You do not need to reach the required English language level in order to apply. And if you can't meet the English language requirements, we will include this as part of your offer. So as I said, you do not need to meet them in order to apply, but you will need to meet them before you can receive an unconditional offer letter. PhD study at Queen Mary. So when you apply to study at Queen Mary, you're joining a community of around 2,000 postgraduate research students. In the UK, as you may be aware, most full-time PhDs take around 3 to 4 years. And so choosing the right program and university for you is a really big decision. When you join Queen Mary as a PhD student, you become part of the doctoral college, and they are there to support you throughout all stages of your PhD and provide wraparound support. Like with our PGT programs, you can apply for all of our PhD programs online, but it's really important to do your research before applying. So this means checking that we offer your specialism, and if we do, checking that we have the right supervisor for you. Each school at Queen Mary has its own webpage, and you can check for PhD opportunities here. Most schools regularly update their webpage with a list of projects, but if you can't see a project that is suitable for you, or if you're not sure, I always encourage you to get in contact with academics and ask for more information. There's also a PhD administrator whose profile you can see on each school page, and they will be able to help you and provide you with some more information. Accommodation at Queen Mary. So we can offer well-connected accommodation on and close to our campuses. For postgraduate accommodation, we can offer around 1,000 rooms across 4 different residences. So these residences are a popular choice, and we can offer a range of accommodation to suit different budgets, including rooms in shared flats and studios. We have a really great residences team who can also support you in your search for private accommodation. I've included their contact details here, but again, for any questions in particular, I'll keep my email up at the end of the presentation and I can share some more information with you. Okay, last but not least, social life at Queen Mary. So there are countless ways to get involved in social life at Queen Mary, and various activities and opportunities for you to meet fellow students and develop new skills. We have over 300 societies, which includes 100 sport clubs, as well as on-site gym, campus shops, restaurants and bars. There are lots of, as I mentioned, there's over 300 societies, which includes various different Latin American societies. So there are currently over 200 students studying at Queen Mary from Latin America, and societies include the Iberian and Latin American Society, as well as the Latinx Society. Here I've just included some more information about some virtual events that we have coming up and what I've covered today. So we have 2 digital campus tours, one next week and one the week after, as well as a School of Law virtual open evening, which is on the 18th of March. Okay, so that's everything from me today. Thank you very much for listening. I'm not sure how much time we have left now for questions, but as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, I am joined by my colleague Santiago today. So if you have any specific questions, then please let either of us know. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Flora. We are going to have a final space for questions, like after all presentations. Vamos a tener un espacio, bueno, ahí queda en el chat, pero un espacio al final de todas las presentaciones para que escriban, por eso vayan escribiendo sus preguntas en el chat y intentaremos responder todas al final de la presentación. So now, Joe, are you ready?
Hi there.
Vamos a dar paso a la Universidad de Glasgow. Please.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm just sharing my screen now for you. So my name's Joe Power and I work at the University of Glasgow. I've worked at Glasgow for a little while now, for almost 5 years. Before that, I used to work in England at the University of Bath. So I'm going to just talk to you for 10 minutes about the University of Glasgow, what we offer and some of the quality that we have to offer you. So a few key facts, first of all, about Glasgow. You can see from the pictures in our slides as well, you get to get a glimpse of the beautiful campus that we have, which reminds a lot of people of Hogwarts if you're a Harry Potter fan. So we've got that kind of Gothic feel on the campus, which adds to the atmosphere at Glasgow. So we were actually established a long time ago in 1451. The campus you're looking at is not as old as that. It was built in the 1870s, but we have been established for well over 650 years. So we're classified as one of the ancient universities of Scotland. So hopefully you picked up already that Glasgow is a city within Scotland, within the UK. So Glasgow is the largest city in the UK, and I'll mention a bit more about that in a moment. Just a few other key facts about Glasgow. It's known for being a very friendly place to study. A lot of our Latin American students really enjoy the chat that they get from local people in Glasgow. We're quite famous for the sense of humour in Glasgow as well. So although things aren't very fun at the moment with the pandemic, it is possible to have quite a nice time living in Glasgow. A few other key facts about the university, just rankings related. We're usually in the top 100 of most world university rankings. So within the QS, we're currently number 77, and we are just inside the Times Higher Education top 100 too. We are also a member of the Russell Group of Research Intensive UK Universities. I think that other universities in this presentation are also a member of this group, and Flora referred to it earlier on. So this is the group of universities, a little bit like the Ivy League in the USA, that focuses particularly on research, and that research you would expect should come into your master's programs, which would help to make your program quite unique. At the university as a whole, we have over 29,000 students from more than 140 countries. So relative to other UK universities, we are quite big. We're not the biggest, but we're one of the larger universities in the UK. So thinking about our community of Latin American students at Glasgow, we do have students from Uruguay. Numbers are relatively small. It's probably less than 10 at the moment. We've had our agreement with ANII for a couple of years now, and we're really happy to have that and facilitate you coming to study with us at Glasgow. Across the whole region of Latin America, we have more than 200 students from across the region. A lot of students coming from places like Mexico, Colombia, Chile, Brazil as well. So we help to link up those students so that you can form a community of support, which seems to work really well. I think other Latin American students like to get to know each other. They are spread across a whole range of programs that we offer at Glasgow, tending to focus on master's programs in science, in health, in engineering, in social sciences predominantly. And as I mentioned before, we have our agreement with lots of different sponsors around the region, including ANII, which we're very pleased about. Just going back in time to our history at the University of Glasgow, we have quite a few famous alumni from the university. Some of these really do go back quite a way, but there's some very famous names in history there, including Adam Smith, who was the founder of modern economics. He studied at Glasgow and taught at Glasgow many, many years ago, and we've named our business school after him because we're particularly proud of him. We've also named our School of Engineering after James Watt, who was a very famous engineer back in his time as well, helped to improve steam power and was a key figure in the Industrial Revolution. We also have a lot of famous scientists that helped to make important discoveries, that helped to develop the world. Also, the man who helped to invent the television, John Logie Baird, studied at Glasgow. Thinking about more recent alumni, we do have famous alumni like Nicola Sturgeon, who is the First Minister for Scotland at the moment. So she studied law at Glasgow not so long ago. So thinking a little bit about Glasgow and where we're located, as I mentioned before, we're located in Scotland. Scotland's and hopefully reasonably well known to you. We're in the north of the UK. We have a lot of famous scenery within Scotland. Anyone who's watched Outlander will be familiar with the countryside and the scenery around Scotland. And actually this scenery is quite accessible from a city like Glasgow. Glasgow is the largest city in Scotland. It has a population of around 1 million. But you can get out to this picture here, which is of Loch Lomond. So in Scotland, we call lakes lochs. This is the largest loch in Scotland. It's only 40 minutes away from Glasgow by train, so you don't even have to have a car to drive there. So all of this scenery is really accessible to you in a day trip, but also within the city of Glasgow, we have a very strong cultural heritage. We have the UNESCO City of Music status because in normal times, we have as many as 300 music events happening every week in Glasgow. So the sense of culture within Glasgow and the history is really very strong. So I just want to show you a little picture of our campus as well here. So the campus, as you can see, that there's a historical centre to it, which I mentioned before was built in the 1870s. And then you can see all around it, lots of different buildings have come up at different times through different periods. We've got our School of Engineering, we have our large library as well. So that's the main building, which was designed in the late 1800s. We have our library, which is much more of a modern building. And actually, if you're thinking about this campus, it's located in the west end of Glasgow. So it's located within the city of Glasgow. So we have the best of both worlds. You have the feel of being on a campus, but you're also right there in the city of Glasgow at the same time. So you can have both experiences. Just to outline really quickly the subjects that we offer at Glasgow. I mentioned before we're quite a large university and we offer most subjects, but not absolutely everything. But we tend to offer subjects in the arts and humanities, particularly strong in engineering, in medicine, dentistry, nursing and health related programs. Also very well known for social sciences and the pure sciences as well. So we offer most things. What we don't offer would be architecture and chemical engineering, but pretty much everything else is available at Glasgow. And just to mention entry requirements briefly as well, I see there's been a question about that already. Yes, so usually if we're looking at the 12-point system for our master's programs, we're probably looking at a minimum of 8 out of 12. And sometimes for some programs, we might ask for a 9 out of 12. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what marks you should be expecting to get in your bachelor's degree. And we can also look at the possibilities of flexibility if you feel that you need to have a bit more flexibility within your offer. Similarly, for research programs, we look for the same equivalency or ideally a master's qualification before you come to do a PhD with us. Oops, I've just jumped. There we go. So this is my final slide. I'm sure some of you might be wondering about scholarships as well. So if for any reason you weren't successful with ANII, I know that it's quite a competitive process. We do, like a lot of other universities, have our own scholarships, which are not usually quite as good. They are partial scholarships. We have an international leadership scholarship, which offers £10,000 off your tuition fee, which realistically would equate to around 50% discount on your fee. But if you are lucky enough to get a scholarship with ANII, we will also discount your fees by a little bit less, but we will help to make up the difference so that you're able to afford to study at Glasgow. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop. There's my email address if you need to be in touch with me. I think it will be shared in the chat as well. So I will just unshare my screen. Okay, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Jo.
Thank you, Jo.
Thank you. Well, now we have Sheffield University, Laura.
Perfecto, voy a compartir la pantalla. Y ¿me pueden decir si ya la ven?
Sí, la vemos, pero no pantalla completa aún. Ahora sí.
Perfecto. Pues hola a todas y a todos. Yo soy Laura Díaz, soy representante de la Universidad de Sheffield para México y América Latina. Bueno, hablando un poco acerca de por qué deberían de elegir la Universidad de Sheffield, como ya lo comentaron los colegas de las otras universidades, la calidad de las universidades en Reino Unido sin duda es única. Algunas de las mejores universidades del mundo se encuentran en Reino Unido. Es un lugar muy diverso y multicultural. Ustedes van a tener un gran balance entre la vida académica y la vida social como estudiantes, entonces realmente el Reino Unido es posiblemente el mejor lugar para que ustedes sean estudiantes. En el caso de la Universidad de Sheffield, actualmente pertenecemos al top 100 de universidades en el mundo. Somos el número 93. Como ya comentaron anteriormente, la Universidad de Sheffield también es miembro del Russell Group, que es el equivalente al Ivy League en Estados Unidos, y las mejores universidades británicas pues pertenecen a este grupo. También estamos dentro del top 50 de universidades más internacionales y es algo de lo que estamos muy orgullosos. hablando un poco más acerca de la investigación, es algo que nos interesa muchísimo y de acuerdo con ciertas encuestas, cerca del 99% de la investigación que realizamos en Sheffield es reconocida globalmente. Entonces, nos importa muchísimo la calidad de la investigación por el impacto que puede tener, ¿no? El impacto en políticas públicas, el impacto en los negocios, etcétera. Tenemos alrededor de 28,000 estudiantes de 150 países, entonces ustedes como estudiantes uruguayos y latinoamericanos van a tener un ambiente muy diverso en el cual aprenderán muchísimo tanto de los profesores que son pioneros en las áreas de sus estudios como de sus propios compañeros. Aquí en esta imagen podemos ver los 6 premios Nobel que han ganado miembros de la universidad. Tal vez el más famoso para aquellos que estudien ciencias o química, pues sea Sir Hans Krebs. De hecho, el ciclo de Krebs fue inventado en el edificio rojo que se ve atrás. Entonces, estamos seguros que tal vez el premio número 7 está dando clases actualmente. Tenemos una gran variedad de cursos para ofrecer en Sheffield. Tenemos 5 facultades: la Facultad de Artes y Humanidades, la de Ingenierías, Medicina, Odontología y Salud, la Facultad de Ciencias y también la Facultad de Ciencias Sociales. Entonces, seguramente el curso que ustedes quieran estudiar, ya sea de maestría o doctorado, lo tenemos en Sheffield. Como les comentaba, queremos que tengan una experiencia académica muy buena, pero también una experiencia estudiantil. Tenemos más de 300 clubs y sociedades, entonces cualquier hobby que ustedes tengan, seguramente hay un club o una sociedad que se pueden unir. También hemos sido votados los últimos 4 años por tener el mejor Student Union del Reino Unido, y este va a ser un hub social muy importante para ustedes, pero también hay workshops sobre el desarrollo de CVs, carrera, etcétera. Entonces, realmente tendrían en Sheffield una experiencia muy completa. Ahora, recibimos alrededor de 100 estudiantes latinoamericanos que van desde el pregrado o licenciatura hasta el doctorado. En mi caso, queremos que más estudiantes latinoamericanos y uruguayos estudien con nosotros. Y bueno, soy el ejemplo de el énfasis que quiere hacer Sheffield en estudiar. Yo estoy basada en la Ciudad de México, pero como les decía, ayudo a estudiantes desde México hasta Chile, Argentina, Uruguay. Ahora les quiero hablar un poco más acerca de por qué la ciudad de Sheffield es un gran destino para que ustedes vivan. Está ubicada en el norte de Inglaterra, que es el centro del Reino Unido. Estamos a cerca de 45 minutos en tren de la ciudad de Manchester y 2 horas en tren de Londres. Entonces, estamos ubicados en un lugar muy conveniente. Van a poder visitar muchas otras ciudades también. Tenemos un poco más de 500,000 de habitantes, entonces somos alrededor de la 4ª ciudad más grande de Inglaterra, y aquí pueden ver justo una fotografía aérea de la ciudad. La ciudad es muy famosa por sus 7 colinas. También sabemos que como estudiantes es muy importante el tema del presupuesto, y Sheffield es una de las 10 ciudades más accesibles para vivir en el Reino Unido. Entonces, el presupuesto aquí no será tanto un tema como quizás en ciudades más grandes. También somos una de las ciudades más seguras del Reino Unido, porque sabemos que este tema es muy importante. Algunos documentos para aplicar en el caso de las maestrías: necesitamos su título de licenciatura o pregrado, así como su transcript, que es el documento donde vienen sus notas. Estos 2 documentos tienen que ser traducidos por un perito traductor. También necesitamos el CV, su carta de motivos o personal statement, 2 cartas de recomendación. Necesitamos algún certificado de inglés, puede ser el TOEFL o el IELTS, pero si aún no lo tienen, podemos solicitar la admisión sin él. También necesitamos la copia de su pasaporte y que llenen la application form. Aquí les dejo mis datos, pueden mandarme un mail, pueden mandarme un WhatsApp, con mucho gusto los puedo acompañar a lo largo de este proceso, desde que quizás no están tan seguros qué programa quieren estudiar, hasta que ya están en Sheffield. Y pues eso sería todo. Muchas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias, Laura, por tu presentación. Bueno, vamos pasando a la última de las universidades que teníamos para hoy. Es la Universidad de Bristol. So, Gary. Yeah.
Gracias. Ok. Muchas gracias. Mi nombre es Gary Coulter. Trabajo y vivo en Bristol. Tengo una carrera de universidad en Historia y Español y por eso puedo hablar español, pero voy a hacer la presentación en inglés. So, I am from the University of Bristol. This is my name, Gary Coulter. I am the market manager for North and Latin America. Spend much of my time under normal circumstances in the region, and my email address is below should you wish to contact me. So first of all, where are we? So Bristol is in the southwest of the UK. So everybody has heard of London. London is obviously the capital of England and is in the southeast. Bristol is in the southwest. We are only 90 minutes away on the train. Bristol is the 10th biggest city in the UK, so it is a big city. It's not a pueblito. It has a population of just under 1 million people now, and it has its own international airport, so it's a sort of a big, thriving city. The university itself is an old, traditional, very highly ranked Russell Group university, one of the top universities in the world. Established in 1876, we have been linked now with over 13 different winners of the Nobel Prize in a variety of different subject areas. We have around 20,000 undergraduate students and 7,000 postgraduate students. And those are roughly, we have students from around about 120 different countries studying on campus. Lots and lots of students from Latin America, particularly from countries like Mexico, Colombia, Brazil. We have a few Uruguayans studying with us already. Peru, Ecuador, Chile. So we really have a very big, large sort of Latin American community. These are excellent students, and we have a very active Latin American society, and we're very keen to welcome more. So the university itself, our current official rankings, we are the 9th best university in the UK, and we are the 58th best university in the whole world, which is obviously fantastic. We, according to High Flyers in 2020, we were the 4th most targeted university by the UK's top employers. So what that means is that if you are to come to a university like Bristol to study our degrees, obviously your opportunities for future employment and future careers is really, really good, because we are very, very highly targeted by a lot of top businesses and industries. We rank very highly for teaching and research, which are obviously especially important in postgraduate degrees, and many of our subjects are ranked in the world's top 100. So the university, as I have told you, is excellent. It's a very high-ranking university, and you can be guaranteed a world-class education if you do come to Bristol. But what really sets us apart is the city of Bristol. In the last 5 years, Bristol has been voted the best city to live in the UK 3 times. It has won that award in both the national press and also in a variety of different polls. So the What Uni Student Choice Awards voted Bristol the best city for student life. It's been voted one of the best cities to live outside of London. It's won lots of different awards, like one of the UK's most colourful cities, the kindest city. We were the European Green Capital in 2015, which is great, because that means we've got lots of sort of green spaces, parks, and it's just a really fantastic place to come, study, live, and our students are happy. And that's really, really important. There are many, many world-class universities in the UK, but what's really, really important is that you come and study somewhere where you're happy, people are friendly, and you can really enjoy the city and your life, because that will ensure a much better student experience. So we have 6 main faculties and a variety of different subject areas. I won't list all of them individually because that will of course take a little bit too long. But what I will do is I will highlight some of our particular areas of interest and some of our particular programs that are of a special interest to many of our Latin American students, and particularly to many of our Latin American students from Uruguay. So in our health courses, we have a variety of different courses in things like health and well-being, health science research, nutrition, public activity, public health and physical activity, general public health, and we have a law master's in health, law and society. Bristol, being the green capital of Europe in 2015, is one of the world's leading centres for research in sort of environment. At the university, we have a huge research group called the Cabot Institute, which is one of the world's leading research centres in climate change. And we offer a variety of master's and PhD courses in this area. You can see some of the masters here, things like climate change science and policy, environmental policy, water and environmental management, sustainable futures, global wildlife health and conservation is very popular. And then we have a lot of programs in things, master's programs in things like nanoscience and biotechnology, education and logistics. These are some of our real growth areas and a lot of interest from Latin American students. PhD research areas as well. These include, again, sort of health and environment and education. As you can see, lots of this sort of cellular molecular medicine, digital health, nutrition, exercise, health and well-being. We even have outstanding vet school as well. So just to the south of the University of Bristol is the University of Bristol Vet School, which is based on its own farm, and we have really good PhD opportunities there. Of course, lots of environmental opportunities for PhD students and in things like education. So that's obviously an overview of some of the sort of program specifics that we have. What we really take seriously at the University of Bristol is that every single student has the help, support and guidance that they need so that they can be successful. So we do this in a variety of ways. So students will have a variety of different support, from accommodation support through to a personal tutor to help and support and guide you as you go through your academic journey with us, residential life advisors. There's sort of a lot of mental health support has been, the University of Bristol has actually invested millions in the last few years in its sort of health and mental health support for students to make sure that they are fully supported during their studies with us. And of course, the post-study work visa will also ensure that students are able to then access further career support as well. We obviously at the moment are taking real care of sort of the health and well-being of our students. So in terms of obviously coronavirus, then there's a huge amount of investment is being put forward by the university to make sure that we're following all guidelines, and international students are just as well looked after as all other students. There's a range of support and well-being services at the university, and we have a really fantastic global lounge, which is a sort of a cultural hub for all students to be a part of, and you can go along to lots of different societies and events and shows there with other international students, and so you're just made to feel really, really welcome at the university. And then career support is really important for us because we really value what our students go and do in the future. So we have a lot of sort of careers fairs. There's a lot of opportunities in and around the city for things like internships and mentoring schemes. There's a lot of additional awards that you can do alongside your degree in things for anything from sort of environmental issues all the way through to things like entrepreneurship and innovation. There is obviously part-time work in the city and lots of employers who do visit our campus every year. So to give you a few shots of the city, if you come down from the University of Bristol, down Park Street, straight into the city centre of Bristol, you can do that on foot. So if you come to Bristol, you will not need a car, you will not need to use any real public transport. You can walk or use a bicycle everywhere you go in the city, which makes it really, really easy to get around, and it makes it obviously useful for our students. We have a beautiful harbour side just at the bottom of the hill outside the university, as Bristol is a very old traditional maritime city. Our campus our main sort of Clifton campus includes a variety of different buildings. That one in the middle is the Life Sciences building that was opened by Sir David Attenborough, who's one of the most famous, obviously, TV naturalists in the world, and he spends a lot of his time living and working in Bristol because the BBC's Natural History Unit is located in Bristol, and he opened our £55 million Life Sciences building. And we have a variety of different sort of buildings and new sports centres across the campus. One of the most iconic shots of the city is the Clifton Suspension Bridge, and we are the home to the International Hot Air Balloon Fiesta, which takes place every August. And you basically, the whole sky of Bristol fills up with hot air balloons, and it's a really fantastic day out when the weather permits. And a quick view of the university from the air. Everything from, you see the tall building just to the centre left of your picture, that is the Wills Memorial Building, which is the oldest building in the university, and everything above that picture, that is University of Bristol buildings, with Bristol Grammar School just to the left there. A few more pictures of just sort of some of our facilities. This is our Arts and Social Sciences buildings, the gardens right in the middle of the university, and our Student Union building, which is called the Richmond Building, which houses our Centre of Innovation, and also a lot of the bar pool facilities that are available for all students. So that's everything from me. Some social media contacts there if you like them, and I will hand back. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gary. Thank you all of our speakers. Thanks a lot. Bueno, simplemente recordarles o informarles en realidad que hoy van a recibir un mail con un link a toda la lista de reproducción de los videos de toda la semana, por si les interesa mirar alguno que no pudieron estar o compartirlo con alguien más. Ahora vamos a leer las preguntas, así que le doy paso a Ana para que pase a comentar las preguntas. Y
Gracias.
también les damos ahí en esa placa toda la información de los contactos.
Excelente, muchas gracias. Bueno, buen día para todos. Vamos a pasar ahora a leer las preguntas y a redirigirlas a nuestros presentadores según corresponda. Algunas ya las fueron respondiendo porque tenían que ver con el reglamento de becas. Queremos comentarles que también está presente hoy en el webinar la coordinadora de becas, Laura Barreiro, y la ejecutiva también, Georgina Lazzarini. Ellas pueden responder sobre los aspectos más operativos del llamado a maestrías y doctorados en el exterior. Algunos ya fueron contestados, pero los voy a repasar de todas maneras. Carmelo comentaba que tiene 45 años de edad y si eso puede ser una limitante. Y la respuesta es que se priorizan, de acuerdo a las bases, se priorizan postulaciones de estudiantes menores a 38, pero no es excluyente. Esa era una de las preguntas. Después, la aceptación en la universidad, si se realiza directo con la institución o por intermedio de ANII. La postulación a las universidades siempre es directamente a la universidad. En el caso de las maestrías, lo que tienen que demostrar es que iniciaron el proceso de inscripción, y en el caso de doctorados tienen que presentar la aceptación, pero siempre es directamente con la universidad. Otro set de preguntas tiene que ver con la escala de notas, y esto lo vamos a trasladar a nuestros presentadores. Yo ahora lo voy a traducir al inglés para que todos estén al tanto, pero básicamente tiene que ver con la equivalencia entre las notas de la escala uruguaya y la escala que usan en Reino Unido. So this question, I'm going to translate the question relating to the marks that we use in Uruguay and how it relates to the marks that they use in the UK. We have a scale from 1 to 12 in Uruguay, and 50% is not 6, it's 3. So with mark 3, you have 50% of the grades achieved. So I wonder if you can comment on how does this relate to the mark scheme that they use in the UK?
I can have a go with that one. Yes, so I've had this with a couple of Uruguayan applicants before, and we're very happy to consider that. If we can see, for example, on the back of the transcript what the equivalents are between percentages and the marks. That's going to be really helpful. If you have another way of demonstrating this, then we can relay this information to admissions. We do understand that some systems don't exactly match up to percentages, so we will have that flexibility. We just need to see a bit of evidence in terms of what it does equate to, but we can help with that.
Great, Joe, thank you. No sé si quedó claro para todos, entonces básicamente la respuesta es que está bueno que haya una explicación de la escala en el documento que ustedes envíen, que explique a qué corresponde, y ellos tienen la flexibilidad de revisarla y de aceptar estos pasos, que los tienen en cuenta y los contemplan. Si no quedó del todo contestada la pregunta, por favor adelante, por chat pueden insistir a ver si logramos aclarar todas las dudas respecto a las equivalencias entre los sistemas de notas. Paso a la siguiente pregunta, que es: ¿la beca para Queen Mary es completa o 20% de la matrícula? Acá quisiera hacer una aclaración y tal vez desde becas quieran agregar algo también. Una cosa es el beneficio que ofrecen las universidades a través del convenio, y otra cosa es la beca ANII, ¿tá? La beca ANII es una beca que tiene un máximo para maestrías y un máximo para doctorados. En el caso de maestrías son $40.000, en el caso de doctorados entre 60 y 80.000, ¿tá? Y esa beca es siempre igual. El tema es que dependiendo de la universidad a la que ustedes elijan ir, la matrícula que cobre esta universidad, los costos de vida en la ciudad a la que ustedes vayan, la beca puede ser o no suficiente, y entonces a través de los convenios nosotros obtenemos beneficios justamente para que la beca pueda rendir más. Es decir, que una beca para la Universidad de Queen Mary, ustedes van a tener que considerar la matrícula que cobra Queen Mary menos el 20%, y ese 20% es uno de los beneficios a los que ustedes acceden a través del convenio con ANII, ¿sí? No sé si Laura, Georgina quieren agregar algo a la explicación.
Hola, buenos días a todos. Gracias, Ana. Lo que refiere a la beca ANII, esa información con los montos máximos y los rubros que cubre la beca la tienen disponible en el documento de bases que está en la página web del llamado, ¿sí? Ahí se establece el monto máximo para becas de maestría, en este caso, o de doctorados, y cuáles son los topes para seguro médico y pasajes, estadía en el exterior, y bueno, y todo lo que es requisitos y demás información relativa al llamado.
La pregunta la había hecho Macarena, si quedó contestada o no. Macarena, nos mandás mensajito por chat. Seguimos con el resto de las preguntas. Bueno, el caso de las aceptaciones en el caso de doctorados y la inscripción para maestrías creo que ya quedó respondida. Aquí hay una pregunta para la Universidad de Glasgow, o sea, para Joe. Me interesa un programa de 2 años en la Universidad de Glasgow. Su página dice que solo cubriría 12 meses. ¿Habría posibilidad de extensión? Es una maestría. La pregunta la hace María Pía Amorín.
Okay, I've understood that, so I don't think you need to translate. I think from Maria Pia, if you could let me know the title of this master's program, I can clarify for you, because we do have some programs which are 2 years in duration. They're Erasmus Mundus masters, and they're located in 3 different universities, including Glasgow. So I'm not sure if you're referring to one of those. So if you could just clarify the title of the program you're interested in, I can help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. También les vamos a dejar los contactos de todos. Si hay algunas preguntas que son más bien particulares, también pueden estar en contacto vía email para responderlas con cada uno de los socios que están presentes hoy. Las preguntas de las notas ya las tenemos respondidas. María Pía también pregunta: voy a recibir mi diploma luego del 17 de marzo, pero estoy en proceso de terminar el papeleo. ¿Podría aplicar? En esta pregunta capaz que Georgina o Laura pueden comentar cómo son los requisitos para la aplicación.
Hola. Uno de los requisitos es presentar el título de grado o eventualmente el mismo puede estar en proceso de solicitud, ¿sí? Como que el título está en trámite. No pueden haber requisitos pendientes a cumplir para al momento de postular a la beca.
Gracias, Georgie. Y no te vayas porque lo siguiente también tiene que ver con el proceso de aplicación. ¿Qué factores se toman en cuenta para la asignación de becas? ¿Hay algún mínimo de nota para obtener una beca?
Las pautas de evaluación están públicas en la página web de ANII, tanto para maestrías como para doctorados. Pueden chequear ahí los ítems y cómo pondera cada ítem en general. Y a priori no es que ANII tiene definido una nota mínima de escolaridad para poder aplicar a la beca. Eso va a formar parte del proceso de evaluación, como les decía, con esa pauta que está predefinida y que está pública en la página de la agencia.
Bien, esta otra también tiene que ver con las becas de ANII. Finalizada la beca de doctorado es requisito regresar a Uruguay. ¿No hay excepciones?
Es requisito para todas las becas de posgrado en el exterior de ANII, una vez culminado el programa, retornar y residir por el tiempo que estipula el reglamento de becas. No hay excepciones. Y bueno, cualquier situación puntual que algún candidato necesite plantear, eso se eleva a ANII para consideración, pero no hay excepciones a esa regla, digamos.
Gracias,
Lo que
Georgie.
sí, perdón, no sé si puedo complementar un segundito nomás, es para complementar la respuesta de Georgina. En realidad la idea es que si en el caso digamos, de finalizar el doctorado les surge la posibilidad de hacer un postdoc, por ejemplo, después en el exterior, eso es posible, se puede, digamos, de alguna manera prorrogar el compromiso, el cumplimiento, digamos, del retorno al país para después de un postdoc, por ejemplo. Eso no se estudia, se analiza y es posible. La idea es, digamos, que puedan seguir, por supuesto, con la trayectoria, con la carrera académica, y queda ese compromiso pendiente para después de ese postdoc, por ejemplo. Pero de todas maneras, eso es caso a caso, los analizamos y les pedimos siempre que se mantengan en contacto con el ejecutivo y con el que tienen contacto en la agencia y puedan plantear la situación, hagan una solicitud formal y demás, pero existe esa flexibilidad de posponer el retorno si hay algo concreto, una actividad concreta, digamos, a realizar. ¿Sí? Simplemente como comentario.
Muchas gracias, Laura. Vamos a pasar a alguna pregunta para las universidades, para aprovechar bien esta instancia. Las preguntas que tienen más que ver con el proceso de aplicación siempre pueden referirse a becas@ani, como tienen en la placa ahí los contactos, pero aprovechemos que están ahora nuestros socios para preguntar. Por ejemplo, aquí hay algunas preguntas sobre costos de vida en Glasgow y el porcentaje de escala de notas. So we've got two questions that maybe you could comment, each of you could comment briefly. One is still about the marking system, the marks that you require for the application, and what's approximately which percentage do you ask for in applications?
Okay, shall I have a go at that one? So yeah, for the marking system, if we're looking at a percentage system, then probably for Glasgow in particular, we'd be looking at around 70% normally. That's how we would view it in percentage terms, but like I've said, we're able to consider if your system is not quite done in the same way, we can look at that carefully.
Thank you, Joe. And if you could also briefly comment on the costs of living in Glasgow, approximately.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, it's quite an interesting question because different cities around the UK have different levels of cost of living. And probably it's fair to say the further north you go, the cheaper it gets. But it doesn't mean that you have less quality of life. So that's really positive about Glasgow. It's a lovely place to live. I think what is usually cheaper, if you're comparing Glasgow to a city like London, is the cost of accommodation. It's probably around 50% of what you might pay in London. And so you can save a little bit money that way. I would say per month, minimum in Glasgow, you would need around £1,000 per month to live okay. A little bit more is ideal, but £1,000 minimum per month is okay.
Thank you. And the rest of you, would you like to comment on the required marks for application, please? Maybe Flora or Laura, Gary?
Hello, yeah, so yes, I'm happy to go first. Yeah, so we'd be very similar to, in terms of sort of marks that we would need and sort of living costs in Bristol. So we'd be very sort of similar to Joe and sort of Glasgow. We'd be looking around the 70% mark. But what I would say is that because obviously it's a very sort of nation specific area, we do actually have specific representatives and specific admissions teams that can look at all applications. So we would encourage people to still apply and contact us if they feel that for whatever reason they might have any sort of specific circumstances, because we are able to offer flexibility if we feel it is right. In terms of living costs, so Bristol is in the south of the UK, and it is not in London, which obviously means that of course, with London being the capital city, you always will end up paying a little bit more for the privilege of living in the capital. But Bristol is still, it is cheaper than London, but it is still a little bit more sort of more expensive than the rest of the country, but that's mainly because it's such a highly desirable place to live. So we would be looking at around £12,000 per year, British pounds. And that will be per 12 months to comfortably live on a student budget in somewhere like Bristol. It used to, I would have said a couple of years ago, would have been around 10, but now realistically it's probably around £12,000. But that would be for everything. That would be completely all in accommodation, food. You don't really need to spend any money on public transport and, entertainment on a normal student budget. Obviously, if you have very expensive shopping habits and like to go to the shopping centres, then your budget may go up. But for a normal student budget, which includes entertainment, going out with your friends, food, etc., then about £12,000 is a very good sort of accurate number. So that will be it from us. But as I said, in terms of entry criteria, we have a sort of a very specific admissions team that we can look at all things and be flexible. So please get in touch.
Excellent, Gary. Thank you very much.
Sorry, just to answer there, sorry, my connection lost a little bit there, but hopefully you can all hear me now. So in answer to entry requirements, will be similar to Bristol and Glasgow. So we'll be looking around 70% as well, but the same that's been said by Joe and by Gary, please do just contact us, either the email that I've shared earlier on today or on each individual course page, so that you can discuss your entry requirements with the admissions team. In terms of cost of living in London, so it's no secret that London is an expensive city to live in. It's the capital city, so this is to be expected. However, London is a big city, and cost of living varies greatly depending on the area that you're living in. So Queen Mary University, although we are central London, we are based in East London. This is where our main campus is, in Mile End, which is a slightly cheaper area of the city to live in. London as well, it's there's great connection to different areas of London. So a lot of our students, as I mentioned in our presentation, a lot of students in London will also look at living in private accommodation, especially if they're a PhD student, they might look at living in different areas throughout their time with us. And the cost of living varies greatly depending on the area of London that you're living in. Cost of rent can vary anything from £500 per month for a room in a shared house to £800 a month, depending on the zone that you're living in. We usually say to students to budget around £1,200, £1,250 per month for living in London.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Bueno, ahora, como ya dijeron los demás, igual en Sheffield buscamos aproximadamente una equivalencia del 70%. Para algunos programas que tal vez son más populares o tienen requerimientos más específicos, puede ser más alto, pero siempre les aconsejamos que veamos caso por caso la nota que ustedes tienen para poder dar más información. Y acerca del monto específico que necesitan para vivir en Sheffield, son alrededor de 1.000 libras al mes. Pueden vivir en los alojamientos de la universidad o también pueden elegir un alojamiento privado. Pero yo diría que la renta, la comida, todo este tema son aproximadamente 1.000 libras.
Excelente, Laura, muchísimas gracias. Bueno, estamos un poquito pasados de la hora, pero creo que pudimos responder la mayor parte de las preguntas. Si tienen más preguntas, por supuesto, con muchísimo gusto las responderemos por mail. Aquí tienen todos los contactos, pueden contactarse con ANII si son sobre el proceso de aplicación o sobre los beneficios de los convenios, y pueden contactarse también directamente con los representantes de las universidades que nos acompañan hoy. Agradecemos muchísimo a todos por la participación en el día de hoy, quedamos a disposición. Agradecemos también a nuestros presentadores. Thank you very much to Flora, Joe, Laura, and Gary. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Thank you for all the information you've given us, and we'll be in touch. Bye-bye.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye, thank you.
Bye bye.